I am so excited to have this camp spotlight chat with Johane. Not me, Johane. One of my besties is also named Johane, and she's going to be joining us today for a camp spotlight. We've already got some people tuning in to hang out with Joe and I for the next little while. So there she is. I see she's just joined the room. Yay! Joe, can you say something in the chat and then I can pull you in? I just got the notification that a bunch of people joined at the same time that you did, so I couldn't isolate your handle. Hi, Heidi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Crystal.
There
There
I am.
you are. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I've never done I've never done this before.
No time like the present.
There we go.
Yeah, you look like you're fresh off the workout mat.
Um, sure. No, I actually did take a shower.
Good.
This is my uniform.
Yeah, for working at home. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, Johane, thanks for being here with me today. We've tried
Fine.
to nail down a date for a few months, it seems like, but with life getting kind of a little bit maybe back to normal, people are busier and things are happening. So I'm glad we're finally able to connect here with our Instagram friends today for your camp spotlight.
Yay.
You were actually the first person at camp to raise your hand for a spotlight, but then we had to change dates. So here you are.
Here I
Yay!
am.
Here you are. Yes. So, for those of you who might not know Johane, Johane is a longtime friend of mine. We met in 2017, Joe. Is that your
I
first? I'm
think
going to get you to
so.
tell the story. But so, really, it's only been 5 years. Feels so much
I
longer
feel
than
like
that.
it's been longer.
But it was the first retreat that you came to. No, no, you're right. I always get the story wrong. You should tell the story.
So I should tell the story. Of course, I
Yes.
mean, I feel like I've known you my whole life. But my good neighbor on the other side of this wall here invited me. She had signed up for your, why am I not getting the name right? Lettering.
There was illustrative hand lettering, and then the modern calligraphy. You did both.
Yeah.
Those
And
two
so she
classes.
said she had met you at a painting class, I think,
Hmm.
acrylic painting class, and has already signed up for the 5 or 6 weeks class with you. And I said, sure. And we carpooled. And then from there, yeah, I just kept going and
Yes.
signed up for calligraphy and
Right.
uh,
So that would have probably been 2015 then, when I started
possibly,
teaching those classes. 2015, 2016. Yeah. I could look in
yeah,
my records and get the exact date for our, personal interest.
yeah.
And then how did you get from my dining room table for those lessons to being here in this moment as a featured camper in the spotlight?
Oh my goodness, so much has happened in that time. Obviously, meeting you, and I think we just hit it off right off the bat. And
Yes.
then you had posted about your art retreat weekend, which I sat on for so long because it was so outside my comfort zone, going away for a whole weekend, not knowing anybody there except for you. So I really kind of left it last minute. Yeah, and so I sent you this email and I expressed my fears and concerns and all the rest of it. And you were very reassuring. I still wasn't sure. Anyways, I jumped in and I was completely overwhelmed, I'll be honest, being there
Mhm.
just
I
because of
remember.
where I was in my personal life, just going through a lot. And so my nervous system was already pretty shot. And then I just remember us doing the round, the opening circle, and everybody was introducing themselves. And story after story, it just seemed that every person there was an entrepreneur. And I was like the only person
Right.
that had like a corporate Monday to Friday desk job. And I just felt so out of place. Had myself a little cry.
Oh,
Um, and then, it was just all part of the process. I just was not comfortable speaking in a circle of people like that and not really understanding too. I was just at that time learning that I'm a highly sensitive person and that I was
Mm-hmm.
soaking in all of the really hard stories. Like these women were so vulnerable in sharing during the opening circle, and I didn't yet know how to listen without feeling everything they were feeling.
Right.
Yeah, and then obviously everybody was just so welcoming, and I left there with some really great new friendships, and that led to more retreats where again that circle just continued to grow. And it just helped me then say yes to other things that seemed scary and overwhelming.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually the part of the story I was most excited for you to get to. Just how you've been saying yes to so many new things. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think with each time, it's super scary to do something we've never done before. If we don't know anyone and we're shy, we're an introvert, it's just so overwhelming. But what I've learned over the years, and now I'm always excited to say yes to things, because each of those times I said yes, I have met the most amazing
Mm-hmm.
human beings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they're kind, they're funny, they're wise as F. um,
Yes.
just beautiful, beautiful humans. And so, my involvement with going to the art retreat and meeting beautiful people, of course, led me to camp, and,
Mm-hmm.
now connections with women and men that are scattered all over the world that follow you. That also led me to saying yes to a monthly wellness retreat where they're very
Right.
much opening circles and closing circles. And again, I was still so uncomfortable speaking. Like I would get panicky, and I just didn't like all eyes on me. But the more you do it, and especially when you find safe places like my
Mm-hmm.
wellness retreat, like your art retreat, like camp, and people genuinely are listening and they see you and they want the best for you, it's such a safe place that it
Mm-hmm.
becomes so much easier to speak. Um, so every one of those yeses just kind of led me to the next thing, the next thing. And
Right.
now I'm not scared of doing things outside my comfort zone.
I
Uh,
know.
there's that nervous excitement. Like even this is brand new.
Yeah.
And the old me from a few years ago would have said, no, I'm not going to do a live with you. Like,
I
no.
know, I know, I know
And
that
here
old
we
Joanne.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we are. Here we are. I
Yeah.
love that yes story. It's one of my favorite stories that you tell. So thank you for sharing it with
Mm,
the others that are watching now and on the replay. So I've got your camp spotlight post pulled up on my computer here because I wanted to touch on each of the things that you shared with us when I survey my campers for the spotlight opportunity. And there are four prompts that I ask my campers when they sign up for a spotlight. And the first one is, what is your current creative play of choice? Do you remember what you answered? You probably have it there with you, I'm guessing.
yeah, I have it nearby just to refresh my memory. Yeah, I had mentioned Zentangle Art, knitting, and watercolor greeting cards. And,
Mm-hmm.
knitting, I mean, that was my mom taught me how to knit when I was 5 years old.
Nice.
So I won't give away my age, but I've been knitting for more than 40 years.
Perfect.
Um, and it's just something really comforting because both grandmothers used to knit. And so for me, I know some people are just learning, maybe in their 40s or 30s. And I've been in the room with people who are learning to knit and they're so stressed out because it's so complicated. And, whereas for me, because I've been doing it so long, it's actually a form of meditation,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
especially if I'm doing, so that's one thing that I would do at your art retreat when I was
that's
feeling
right.
overwhelmed, is that I always had a very simple knitting project that I
Mm-hmm.
could do without having to look at my work. I could carry on a conversation, but still be knitting. And that just really grounded me. And just, it was such a comforting thing to have. Now, obviously, I can challenge myself and do some really complicated things. But again, I'm a natural born problem solver. So one of the things I love to do with a friend, sometimes they panic if they make a mistake. And so I love to teach them how easy it is to fix a mistake, that there's no need to panic. Zentangle Art, I was staring at a blank page in my my art journal and just not really knowing how to start on things. And because my work, my day job as an engineer is always on the computer and it's always using my brain, that by the end of the workday, my brain is shot. And I just don't have the energy to think of what to do creatively. And so I found this beautiful way of just going on Pinterest, Googling or like searching within Pinterest for beginner Zentangles. And they show you step by step how to do it.
Nice.
And so all I needed was my art journal, a pencil, a ruler, and then a black pen. So sometimes I would do it in pencil to start, and then I would go over it with a black pen. And once you've got sort of the basic lines in, when you're filling it in, that too becomes meditative. And then I didn't even have to think about it. So it was just giving me that little bit of guidance where I was feeling stuck to be able to create. And yeah, then that just, and you just keep searching for new ones to try, and some are more complicated and take a few days to finish. And then watercolor greeting cards, I mean, that came from some of the workshops I did with you, the whimsical doodle and, or whimsical watercolors.
Yes.
And I mean, that was my goal, and that, you know what, if I'm going to buy the art supplies, then that was my goal, to when it was a friend's birthday or Mother's Day or Father's Day, that I would take the time to create a card.
I have some of your cards.
Do it. Like, I'd love to have like an inventory of them. I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, and I've just found a way to, I mean, I can be a perfectionist. And so when I get the card, I still find it hard to paint right on the card. And so a method that works for me to take that stress away of ruining the card is just paint on a piece of watercolor paper. And then when I'm happy with what I've done, I trim it down to size and then put that, like, glue it onto the card. And then that just takes some of that stress away.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that approach. It's yeah, then you don't feel like you've wasted a card if it doesn't work out just quite right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. So the next question was, what's your favorite creative tool? You've already talked about how you use this tool, but what would it be?
I did mention knitting needles, and it's because prior to the pandemic, I used to knit quite a bit. Again, just because it was a form of meditation after work. Now, obviously, I can't keep all of the knitting, so I was knitting hats for a local charity here called the Snowsuit Fund, and they provide snowsuit hats, mittens, scarves to families, underprivileged families who need warm clothes, obviously, in our winters. And during the pandemic, no, I just got away from knitting because they were no longer accepting donations. And the example that I gave you was I knit this sleeve for my ebook, my Kindle.
Oh, yes. I see that now in the photo. Yeah. Now that it's on my computer, I can see that you've got your Kindle tucked inside. I love that.
Yeah, and that just, you know, again, looking for some simple patterns just to get inspiration, and then just had to do swatching to get the size down right, and just kind of made it my own. And yeah, sometimes we, again, think outside the box, and that knitting doesn't only have to be a scarf or mittens or a hat or a sweater. It can be other things. So now when I reach
like
for
pants?
I
apparently you can make knitted pants, right?
Somebody
Our other camper Dawn
is knitting jogging pants, but that's a big project.
That's a big project, yeah.
It
So what
is.
kinds of things do you typically knit? Like, tell us about some of the things that you have that you've made.
You know, I used to knit a lot of sweaters, and I did that like in grade school and high school,
Oh, wow.
which is, yeah, it's really a big project where, especially a sweater, you're knitting it in pieces. So you might knit the front as one piece, the back, and then each arm, and then assembly. I don't so much love the assembly, so I try to
Mhm.
knit that are um, smaller projects, I guess, if you would. One thing I did try, there's so many things you're always learning, even in knitting, and that you can use one big long circular needle, but the way you kind of snake it, you can actually knit two socks at a time or two mittens at a time.
That's
There's this,
fancy.
yeah, there's a funny inside joke with knitters. It's called single sock syndrome. And so if you only knit one sock at a time, there's a
You're
high
not,
chance
you're not the
that
real
the
deal.
second sock is never going to get knit. So somebody came up with this brilliant method on a big long circular needle so that you're literally knitting both socks at the same time. So when you finish your project, you have a pair of socks.
That's incredible. I've never
So
heard of
that
that,
was
but
a really
I
cool.
don't spend any time in the knitting space, so I'll
Yeah,
have
so
to
that
look
was a
for that.
really cool thing to just kind of expand on knitting skills.
Yeah, that's so cool. Um,
Hmm.
okay, next question was, and when I ask people to fill in these camp spotlight questionnaires, they're given a choice of which fun fact they want to answer. And so far, both of my camp spotlights have chosen to offer us their favorite movie line. So, Joe, you want to tell what your favorite movie line is? What movie is it from, and why is it your favorite line from a movie of all time?
Sure. I think around the holidays, most people's favorite movie is Love Actually, and
Hmm.
not mine. And I don't know how I came about this movie, but it's called The Holiday, and it's with Cameron Diaz, and I'm going to forget Jude Law,
Yeah.
and I forget who else.
Jack Black
Jack
and
Black and Ju
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah,
And they do a house swap, and it's just this cozy little cottage, which I just absolutely love. And there's an anyways, you have to watch the movie. But at
yes,
one
you do.
point, as they had just met, he turns to her on the couch and says, "Look at you, you're already better than you think."
I love that.
And I love that so much because I think we all forget sometimes
Hmm.
just how fabulous we are.
That is so true,
And
isn't it?
just such a simple little quote that, just
Yeah.
take and just think of all that you are and how far you've come, and you're already better than you think. We just need
Yeah,
to
you
give ourselves.
already are better than you think. Yeah. I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you've really, how do I want to segue into this next part? This is off script too, by the way, so brace
Okay.
yourself. You've really come a long way as part of your saying yes journey and as part of being comfortable sharing intimate parts of yourself for the last 7 or 8 months. You've been showing up here on Instagram since you changed your handle from your name to Be Moved Alive. Would you like to share what that's all about and what you're doing that's lighting you up these days?
Sure.
Mhm.
It's funny, and I'm always in awe of people whose day job, their career, they're passionate about.
Mhm.
Um, Raised that, you went to university and you got a degree, and the goal was a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job. And I have that. And I'm really good at my job as an engineer. I test software for a living. Great problem solver. But is it a passion? And do I feel a true sense of purpose in this role? No. And so if we backtrack almost 3 years, I had just kind of let my health, both physical and mental health, slide. and I knew that something needed to change. And I was just a little over a year from my 50th birthday. And I just decided, you know what, it was time for me to do something. It was time for me to take better care of myself. And I started working out at home. And, you know, for years I grew up as a gym rat and never really thought you could get in shape at home. And what I didn't anticipate is that very quickly I started to connect with other women in this really beautiful accountability group online. And there's just certain people that you click with instantly. And, you know, some of these women have remained virtual friends because they live in other cities. And some of them are here in Ottawa, and I've had the pleasure of meeting them in person.
Nice.
And I just kept at it along with the monthly wellness retreat. So I see my workouts as really focusing on my physical strength and health, also helping my mental health. And then the wellness retreats really focusing on my emotional and mental health. And there too, I've met, you know, I'm an only child, but I feel like I have this circle of sisters now. You know, through Beachbody, through your art retreats, through the wellness. And all of those things, like I said, the opening circle at your art retreat where I just felt so uncomfortable. And then the opening and closing circles where, again, I had to speak from the heart, you know, in these wellness retreats, I'm just more comfortable now. And, you know, the pandemic hit and we're all isolated, gyms are closing. So the people who used going to the gym as their mental health and, you know, their sanity, suddenly that was all taken away. And I started to see so many of my friends struggling with their physical health because, you know, we're eating more chocolate and we're like drinking more alcohol during the pandemic as a way to numb and to cope. And, you know, so I was doing all of the things I knew how to do to protect my mental health. And so then fast forward, you know, about 8 months ago, I decided to start coaching for Beachbody. And it doesn't mean that I am a fitness expert. It doesn't mean that I'm a nutritionist. What it means is that, you know, at my fingertips, within the comfort of my own home, I have access to these programs and these trainers. And, you know, some of the trainers really focus on your mental health in that, you know, there's guided meditations and there's yoga and there's Tai Chi, but there's also strength. And I wanted to shout that from the rooftop so that my friends and family could feel better, like mind, body, soul. And do I feel passionate about this? I will talk your face off if you let me. Now I feel like I've found passion and I've found purpose. And for now, yes, it is a part-time thing that I do in my spare time instead of mindlessly watching TV for every evening. You know, now instead it's like, you know, I go from my work computer to my personal computer, but now I'm pouring in to these women and, you know, sometimes gently nudging them. Some of them have said they want me to kick them in the butt with a bit more assertive, which I'm happy to do. And the really cool thing is that I see your beautiful community overlapping with my growth. Because again, I think what you bring to camp is connection. And what we've all missed most in this pandemic is connection. You know, safe places where, you know, we can celebrate our wins together, but we can also lean in when we're really struggling.
Absolutely.
So it's still outside my comfort zone to be posting daily on Instagram because I've always won when I'm out and about in the world to be really present. I'm not reaching for my phone to take selfies and photos and videos. and now this is part of my role as a coach to sort of let you into my living room and, come with me for walks in the woods.
Yeah.
Just hopefully give you permission to take time for you. Like even in my community, like my expectation is not that you do the hardest physical workouts. Sometimes my monthly challenges are simply like, please take 20 minutes out of your day for you. And whether that's
Yeah.
going for a walk, whether that's reading a good book, getting your art supplies out, I want you to move your body more because you know what? We are blessed that we
Yeah.
can move our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that looks like for you. Like we have some people that I'm sure are training for 10K runs and, have these, their own personal fitness goals. But then we also have women in the group that are recovering from different injuries like
Mm-hmm.
sprains and ankles and post-concussion syndrome. So for some, being able to walk 2 kilometers after a big injury is just such a huge win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rambling now, but I just,
No, no, it's good. This is exactly why, I want people to know more about the members at camp and what,
yeah.
makes them tick and what makes them shine. So,
And so for
yeah.
me, it's saying yes to all of those things. My confidence grew
Mm-hmm.
myself, and that I have lots to share. I do my best. There's all kinds of Beachbody coaches out there, and I may not be for everyone. My approach is gentle. I'm a wiser, older Beachbody coach. Some of the coaches are in their 20s and 30s, and so we're just at a completely different stage in life. And I think I was so hesitant for a long while because I thought that I had to do it the same way that my coach and other coaches
Right.
were leading communities.
Yeah.
And when I really truly believed that I didn't have to do it their way, that I could do it my way, a way that feels
Mm-hmm.
authentic to me, then I was like, okay, what have I got to lose? I'll try this and see. And
Yeah.
it really gave me a lot of joy for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this, but I actually spent 3 years myself as a personal trainer working with people's physical health and well-being. And
Yeah.
while I haven't done that for about 10 years, I remember it being very, very rewarding and very, very just heart-centered when you can make those connections with your clients and help them see, like going back to your movie quote, help them see that they're already doing better than they think they are. Like they're already stronger than they think they are. They're already, moving closer to their goals than they might feel in that moment, like, because when you're in the thick of trying to make big changes, sometimes you forget just how far you've come. And I'm part of your accountability group. I've done, started a few of your programs that you recommended. One of them has fallen off the wagon a few times. But I
Yeah.
can say that you are definitely a heart-centered coach, and you are gentle and kind, and you really do take the time to connect with the people who are looking to you for support and guidance and advice, and you really do try to find what's best for them and encourage them with your heart, and not just the finish line in mind or whatever financial benefit them joining might have for you. Like that just doesn't even come up in the equation for you. Like you just truly want what's best for your clients and your students, I guess you might call them, and your friends and family. Like I love that your
Yeah.
parents are jumping in and doing their own thing too, and being accountable with you from far away.
Oh, that's absolutely,
Probably
I'm
one of the
speechless.
highlights for you in this
And
journey,
the
I'm
word,
guessing.
my mom, admitted on the phone back in November she was crying and that she was depressed and was missing her friends and was missing church. And I kind of didn't give her an option. I signed her up.
Tough love.
It was a bit of tough love. And now, I mean, every time I'm on the phone with her, she thanks me. She's now on Facebook. So on Messenger, we are accountability partners in terms of our meditation practice. And she is just adoring the Tai Chi. My dad's doing cardio. Like,
Great.
it's just, I had just hoped that she would take advantage of the meditations, and they are just running with it. You know, I won't give, well, my dad is late 70s and my mom is early 80s. And again, with this pandemic, it has really limited their ability, like to go to the gym, and this they can do in the comfort room. They love that all they have to do is press play and follow the trainer, shows them exactly what they need to do. And they just seem happier. So
I love that. Good for you.
the best.
So good, Joe. So good. All right, we're already at the half-hour mark. I'm going to ask you one last question.
Sure.
Actually, two, technically two. So quickly, what is your favorite thing about camp? You might have already touched on
people,
it.
110% the people. It's, again, you know, most of us came together as strangers. Of course, the local gals here who I've met at the art retreats are familiar faces, but you know, there are new faces from Germany, from the United States, from India.
Yes.
And there are some other places that I'm maybe not aware of. And again, like, you've always attracted just kind, empathetic, funny, smart people. And, you know, that just continues at camp. And you have this way of encouraging, you know, gently, you're a cheerleader. And we all sort of do that for each other now. And, you know, I think not been like, this is a silver lining in the pandemic for all of us, that I don't think we ever really thought that we could sit at a computer and meet complete strangers and form connection.
Yeah. Yeah. You were part of Sunday mornings yoga with Janine, who's in Germany. She leads us in yoga once a month. And it was a small group, but when we first all entered the Zoom room for our yoga session, I just had this overwhelming sense of friendship, like just, and I think I said this to you or somebody else, like just how I feel like I could show up at Janine's doorstep unannounced, like fly across the ocean and figure out where she lives and show up at her doorstep, and she would just like invite me in, and we would just carry on as if we'd been friends forever, you know, like, and I can say that about any one of the camp members. Like it's just, and I crave the Thursday picnics. We do live Thursday picnics every Thursday at noon Eastern. And, you know, for a small membership, the percentage of people who show up consistently for our camp picnic is such, it's something I'm so proud of. Like 30% of our membership shows up at camp picnics every Thursday. And, you know, some of the people say it's in their agenda. It's a do not miss. It's a must have for their mental well-being and their emotional well-being. And so, yeah, I'm very, very proud of the community that I've attracted to camp for sure. And I'm so grateful that you're part of it. So thank you. So Joe,
yes,
you said that you had some exciting things coming up with Beachbody. What's coming up, and how can people connect with you if they're interested in getting Coach Joe to help them be moved alive?
Be moved alive. Yeah, you helped me come up with that name. Yeah, it's again, obviously, be moved is just, we want to move our bodies, but also like, what makes you feel alive, right? What moves, whether it's music or dance or art. You know, I think and I was guilty of this. I was like a walking zombie. Like, wake up in the morning, get dressed, go to work, come home from work, have dinner, sit on the couch, watch TV, lather, rinse, repeat. And it's like no, there's so much more to life than that. So yes, be moved alive. I earned a spot in a test group for a brand new program that's coming out
Yes.
later this month. Was really cool to be able to do all these workouts with the trainers. This really is a mind, body, and soul program. And so, yeah, it's just so wonderful to be able to get a sneak peek at that. And then the beautiful thing, you can never get bored, is that there are at least 4 new programs released every year. So there'll be another one coming out in July. Certainly be moved alive here on Instagram. People can absolutely either drop a note below this live or send me a DM, and I would be more than happy to chat with them on how I might help them with their fitness goals or nutrition goals.
Well, and
The
even
more
mental well-being, right? Like you said, your mom is just primarily participating in the Tai Chi and meditation programs that are
meditation,
available. Like,
yeah,
there are just gentle stretching programs there. I've
there
seen so
are.
many that you've been posting about and sharing about in the group, and it's really inspiring. And there really is so much for everybody, no matter what level of fitness and well-being they are coming in at. So if you feel like you need to make some changes, please do connect with Johane, because she's such a beautiful coach and friend, and she just genuinely wants the best for you.
And the only
Yeah.
thing I'll add for anybody who has never heard about Beachbody, I like to describe it as the Netflix of
Yes.
health. It literally is like Netflix, at your fingertips to stream on your TV or on
Yeah.
your laptop, cell phone, you name it. And you have this incredible library of every program they have ever released, including beautiful nutrition programs with videos for you to watch, recipes, meal plans. There's high impact, there's low impact, there's boxing, there's yoga, like you name it, it's there. And what I like to do is I just ask a few questions to find out. One, I like to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your nutrition? On a scale of 1 to 10, what I really care about is what's your stress level.
Yeah.
And if it's 8, 9, or 10, then okay, we need to get that number way, way down. So yeah, we
Yeah.
just have a conversation, and then I make some recommendations, some suggestions, and we go from there. And it's just constant feedback back and forth.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joe, for being here and for being brave and saying yes to all those beautiful things that brought us together in the first place all those years ago, and for saying yes to taking care of your own health and well-being so that you can turn that into helping so many others. It was a joy to chat with you.
I'm just so grateful and so thankful for this opportunity. One last thing I'll say is that I've always admired and been inspired by how natural you are on camera in connecting with people. And I know you give some good advice for me to just smile and pretend like I'm talking to a good friend.
Yep.
And your voice is always, always right here. So thank you.
Mwah. Love you so
Mwah.
much, Joe. Thank you so much for being in the camp spotlight today.
Thank you.
I'm going to post the replay. Some people have said that they can barely hear me, so hopefully I can tweak that in some
Okay.
post-production stuff and make it a little bit better in the replay. But yeah, so watch for that. And yeah, please do connect with Johane. She's Be Moved Alive here on Instagram. And once you become part of her community, she'll invite you into her private Facebook group too. So lots of love going on in that group as well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Joe. I'll see you tomorrow at Camp
Bye.
Picnic.
Thank you. Yes. Bye.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Bye.